usually like just listen to the beat, you know, the sound, not the words, just the sound, right? So this one's entertaining in that aspect. I was actually kind of listening to the words. Yeah. I don't know what to say about that. Anyhow, I'm feeling silly, probably because it's barely even morning, but really early in the morning. I've got the whole way to Canada to go. Where did I just go to? Kalama. So I'm not too far north of Vancouver. I've only been driving maybe a half hour. I'm hauling 60-foot long pipe to Canada because it's 60 foot long. It's a permitted load, which means I have to go into the scales even if I get the bypass. So I had to go through the Ridgefield scale, even though the lights on the side of the highway told me to bypass the scale. So yeah, I'm guessing this time of night, like most of the scales are going to be closed, so I shouldn't have to really worry about that. But Ridgefield's always open. It's the point of entry in Washington, so it's always open. But the rest of the scales heading up, I doubt they'll be open. So I probably won't have to be. I'll have to stop between here and there because I'm going to get fuel, and I'll probably stop at a truck stop or something. I don't fuel at truck stops, but I'll stop for fuel one place, and then I'll probably also stop at a truck stop. Get out and stretch my legs, and maybe go in the store and buy a snack or something. I don't know. I'll cheat since it's the middle of the night. Most all of the truck stops are probably full. And even though I don't fuel at truck stops, I'll probably just pull up in the fuel aisle thing, fuel lane, and then just pull through like I've already got fuel and park in front and then go in. Because there won't be a lot of fuel traffic, I'm sure, this time of night. So, yeah, whatever. Anyhow, it's 275 miles to the border, I think, from, basically from the Oregon border to the Canada border. I have, 242 to go. So, I guess that tells you how far I've gone so far. So, can't imagine I'll have too many updates, since it's going to be dark the whole drive. It'll be dark still when I get to the border. It'll be dark probably when I get to the job to deliver. It'll probably be starting to get light when I finally get there. But, yeah. Anywho, that's it for now. Well, it's been a while, quite a while, since I recorded the first thing this morning. Many hours. A lot's happened. It's been a very interesting day. It's actually quite a nice day. Through much of the day, it's been very challenging to stay positive, but so it's like this rush to get this load. Not this load, I don't have it right now, I'm empty. But the Canada load that I had this morning, it's a rush to get it up there, and I'm on a definite time crunch. So, I leave very early to get there on time. I get to the border about the time I need to get there, anticipating having, you know, a 45-minute to an hour wait. Sorry if my goat's all messed up, I've been playing with it a bunch. So I wait in this huge line of trucks to get across the border, and then I finally get up to the gate. So asking me questions about where I'm going and whatnot. I'm pulling a flatbed, so I don't really have to ask what I'm hauling, because all I gotta do is kind of look. And she asked if I'd ever been to Canada before, and I said no, because I haven't. So she says, okay, well, the first time you come into Canada, anybody, the first time you come into Canada, they do a background check on you. So, okay, whatever. Do what you gotta do, but okay. So they asked me, like, you know, I don't know, have you ever been convicted of, like, any crimes, blah, 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 and I haven't. So, like, no, I mean, the only things I've really been in trouble for is, like, traffic tickets. So, no crimes. So she's like, okay, well, drive over here, over by the inspection bays and park and take all these papers in. The camera seems like it's at a funny angle compared to normal. We'll see how it looks. Anyways, easily distracted, right? So I drive over to the deal and take my paperwork in, and I'm thinking, man, wasn't counting on this delay, and there's another driver waiting for me in Canada already that I'm supposed to be meeting up with, and so we weren't planning on this. Crap. Hopefully this is quick. So there's another driver in there, and so I asked him if he was there for a background check too, and he said yeah, and I asked him how long he's been waiting, and he was like 20 minutes or something. I'm like, oh gosh. And he was still waiting at that point, so so I'm thinking, man, I hate these kind of delays, you know. I already sat in line for like an hour just to get to the border, just to find out that now I gotta go sit in this little office and wait for a background check. Which, I mean, I just got my enhanced license, which, as far as I know, they do a background check, and my TWIC card, which they do a background check, but that has nothing to do with crossing the border. But I've had a lot of background checks done recently. Whatever. So, wait. Finally, after, I don't know, 30 minutes, the, whatever they're called, Canadian dude man with a gun, calls me up to the window and basically says, unfortunately we can't. Oh, what happened there? Haha. Unfortunately we can't let you in Canada. Like, what? Like, you're joking, right? He's like, no, unfortunately I'm not joking. That basically I had a lot of tickets when I was a teenager, but I have 2 tickets in particular that up in Canada, some traffic tickets are considered crimes. Like, they're criminal, which I thought was weird. And you can have one of those, but you can't have 2, and I have 2. One was from when I was 17 and one from when I was 18. So we're talking 20 years old almost. I'm 36, I'll be 37 in a month. So one of them is pretty much almost 20 years old and one's like 19 years old. And so I'm like laughing, I'm like, are you serious? Like, 2 20-year-old tickets, and I can't come into Canada. And he's like, unfortunately not. He's like, I understand that they're really old, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but unfortunately those are the rules. And so I was like, is there any like time limit on that? And he's like, no, it's basically forever. It's like, so I can never, ever come into Canada because of 2 traffic tickets I got as a teenager. And he basically says, yeah, that's correct. So he says, like, I can go to a Canadian consulate in the US and apply for a rehabilitation or something like that, to get my rights to travel to Canada. But I don't think I'm gonna mess with that. I think if they're going to label me a criminal for some traffic tickets I got as a teenager, I don't know that I want to be spending much time in that country. Yeah. So, anyways, obviously that leaves me then sitting basically in Canada with a load on my trailer that I now cannot deliver in Canada. So, and a driver that's been sitting waiting for me to meet up with him so we could go together to this job site. So I get a hold of that driver and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on, take your load, you're probably going to have to come back across the border, grab this load and then take it too, because I can't get across. So he's like, okay. So he goes straight away from where he's at, goes to the job. I get a hold of dispatch, I'm like, this is what's going on, this is what I told him, so, you know, I kind of, I guess, already taken the initiative and working out how to get the load still done, and just kind of communicated that with everybody. Once I got that all squared away, then it was like, okay, now I need to get back to the US and just sit. There's like a truck stop like a mile south of the border and wait for this guy to, you know, go deliver that load, then come back, go through customs, get back to the US, then we're going to trade trailers, and then all head south and he'll go back into Canada. So I need an escort. I need they're not police, what are they? Well, they're mounted police, the Royal Canadian Mounted, I don't know who they are. The Canadian Customs people had to escort me over to the return to the US area, because you have to basically turn onto the same roads that you would to go into Canada, but then you turn off to go back to the US. And just to make sure that I don't sneak into Canada, makes sense, I don't blame them. They had to escort me over there. So they escorted me around to go back through the line, not back through, to go through the line for customs to enter the US. That line's much shorter, I didn't have much of a wait. But the load, like, and you have to give them all your paperwork and your ID and all that, so I give them all that. You guys are a little confused because my load left Portland and is supposed to deliver in Canada, yet I'm heading south from Canada. So he's asking me some questions, and I told him, like, right away when I handed him the paper that I was denied entry into Canada. So he asked why, and I told him, and I don't know that he believed me. He was acting like I was, I don't know what he was acting like. So he asked me a bunch of questions, does all this stuff. Doesn't give me my ID back, but gives me my paperwork back and tells me to go park somewhere and go in this office. Are you kidding me? I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. Whatever. So I go park and I go in there, and they're like being all like suspicious of me. I was born and raised in this damn state that I'm crossing into. I have the enhanced license of the state that I'm crossing into. Whatever. So, I don't know what they do. Ask me some questions and then tell me to go have a seat. So I waited for a while. Finally, they came back and gave me all my paperwork and my ID. And then the guy that was giving me my stuff back, you know, keep in mind, we're basically at the Canadian border. I'm sure, I don't know, he looked at my address down in Vancouver. He said, you live in Vancouver, huh? And I said, yep, born and raised. He's like, where in Vancouver? And so I thought he said, where is Vancouver? Because I'm pretty used to getting that question when I tell people that I'm from Vancouver. They always think Canada. So I thought he said, where is Vancouver? So I was like, you know, basically right by Portland, Oregon, across the Columbia. He's like, no, I see you live on this street. I said, the street I live on. And he says, is that by SR 500? So I was like, oh, you know Vancouver? And he didn't really say anything. So I was like, yeah, it's by SR 500. And then he said, is it by St. John's? I'm like, yes, it's by St. John's. And so then, now I'm thinking, okay, what, did he look at my address on like Google Maps and is just asking me about things nearby just to see if I'm really, like, if that's my real address? So then I was like, started naming other streets. Was like, it's also by Minnehaha. It's actually in a neighborhood called Minnehaha. The closest elementary school is Truman Elementary, and just started like saying stuff about where I live. And Then he just smiled and said, I have friends down there, and handed me my stuff back and said, have a nice day. So I think he was suspicious. Like, first they were being suspicious of me, but at the end, I was suspicious of him. I don't know if he really had friends down there, because you wouldn't, if you live 5 hours away, you wouldn't know things well enough to know just by the street. It's a number street, so I don't know, unless you lived there for a little while or something, but you wouldn't be able to know. Like, say I live on 100th Street, right? Well, 100th Street will run east and west across all of Vancouver, miles. So you would really need the cross street to know where specifically in there, right? To reference it. Now, when he said the street I live on is basically, the street he said is perpendicular to SR 500, but not far from SR 500. So it's not like it's a street that runs parallel to SR 500 for a long time. It's, you know, it's, I don't know. I'm rambling. Anyways, so finally, I get back across the border. Then I go park a mile south of the border and wait. Just sit there and wait 2.5 hours or something for the other driver to go deliver the load, and then he had to sit and wait at the border to get back into the US for like an hour. When I got like my escort and headed back south across the border, there was no line. Like, I almost got straight in, but in that in between hour and a half or whatever, apparently quite a long line had formed because he had like an hour wait at the border. And then anyways, we finally met up and traded trailers, which is another interesting thing. I was pulling one of the company trailers. The other driver owns his trailer, so I'm pulling now his personal trailer, and he's pulling the company trailer. And now I'm supposed to be going to pick up a load for me to deliver Monday, but I have his trailer, so I'm not sure how exactly. Probably going to have to take it back to the yard on this trailer, then unload it with a forklift so that he can have his trailer back, then grab an empty trailer, load the load onto that trailer and tie it back down so that I have a trailer for Monday, I guess. I don't know. Ooh, I'm speeding. Oops. Anyways, it's been quite the interesting day. So I won't be going to Canada anymore. The guy gave me a whole like packet of papers to, like I said, I could like apply for rehabilitation and then get access to Canada. But like I said, I don't think I'm interested anymore. So the tickets, in case you're wondering if you're gonna try to go to Canada and you have some tickets. He didn't tell me specifically. I got a lot of tickets when I was a teenager. I had this problem where I didn't care. One of the tickets was a negligent driving ticket. I wrecked a car on the freeway doing over 100 miles an hour. I got a negligent for that. I'm sure that's one of them. As a negligent, it's a pretty serious ticket. And the other one, like I said, both of these are guesses. He didn't tell me specifically what the tickets were for, and since I had a bunch of tickets, he just told me the dates. But that one lines up, I think, around the time frame of the later date that he gave me. Then the other one, which I think lines up with the time frame of the older date, is the ticket was actually for speed racing. I'd never heard of that ticket before, and I've never heard of it since, but it was an expensive ticket. And which I assume is up there with negligent or reckless or whatever. That was for doing a burnout in front of a cop. I wasn't actually speeding at all. I was pretty much sitting still. I also wasn't racing. There was no cars next to me going the same direction as me. But I was doing a burnout in front of a cop. Like I said, I had this thing when I was young where I didn't care. And I saw a cop that had someone pulled over. And I don't know. I was like, what's he gonna do? He's already got somebody pulled over, so I just lit him up and took off. I never sped, but I did a burnout, and then another cop pulled me over and held me there until the first cop that had someone pulled over got done with who he was with, and then he came over and gave me a speed racing ticket. So I found out what he was going to do. I ended up getting my license suspended over that one. And so I'm assuming those are the two tickets that Canada has a problem with. I mean, I got a bunch of other tickets, but I can't imagine them having a problem with, you know, some speeding tickets, too low, too loud of a stereo, illegal equipment. Like, a lot of my tickets were related to having lowriders and stuff, and big stereos. Yeah. But, anyhow. So that's my day. I don't really know what else to say, so maybe that's my cue to just stop saying stuff. It's a beautiful day out, so maybe I'll just spin this camera around and I don't know, there's just a bunch of traffic right now. That's like the bad thing about driving this I-5 corridor, you know, apparently between Canada and Mexico. There's just a lot of traffic. I wonder if that's the bridge that fell. I forgot about that. Somewhere up here, a year or two ago or something, a truck hit, like his load or something, hit one of the bridge supports and it collapsed. Could have been that. Maybe not. I don't know. Could have been though. Anyways. Yeah, if traffic thins out, which I can't imagine it will because, I mean, I don't know, we're not super far from Seattle. Then after Seattle's Tacoma, and then after Tacoma's Olympia, and then after Olympia, you kind of get away from the cities, but especially on a Friday afternoon, evening, whatever, there's going to be a lot of traffic heading south. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I think I'm done for now.